Hello and welcome in today's class, Chapter 3 Current Electricity, Class 12 Physics. And today we will discuss all these 5 topics: 3.4 Ohm's Law, 3.5 Drift of Electrons, 3.6 Limitation of Ohm's Law, 3.7 Resistivity of various materials, and 3.8 Temperature dependence of resistivity. So these are our topic for today's lecture. Let's start with the 3.4 Ohm's law. Very important law for exam point of view. It was given by George Simon Ohm, and the statement is, but before starting statement, let's see the experiment. If you take conductor and if you apply potential difference across it, then current will pass, and this current is directly proportional to the potential difference applied. So I is proportional to V. Now we can define statement: the electric current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor when physical conditions such as temperature, mechanical strength, etc. remains the constant or same. We can write V is proportional to I, or I proportional to V. So when we remove this sign of proportionality, we apply one constant, that constant is R, and this R is known as resistance. Resistance, as the name implies, it is the opposition offered by the conductor to the flow of electric current through it. Its SI unit is ohm and its symbol is omega. Now we can define 1 ohm by the relation V is equal to R into I. So R is equal to V upon I. So to define 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt by 1 ampere. So definition of 1 ohm is when 1 ampere of current is passed through the conductor on applying potential difference of 1 volt, then resistance is said to be 1 ohm. It is important for CBSE point of view. The resistance of material depends on the nature of material as well as the dimensions of the conductor. Now see the dependence of resistance on the dimensions of the conductor. Dimensions means the length and area of cross section of the conductor. So consider a slab. It may be cubical, it may be cylindrical form. So this is the area of cross section and this is the length. So first, dependence of R on length. It is observed that when length is increased, the resistance of a conductor will increase and vice versa. So R is directly proportional to length of a conductor. Second one, dependence of R on the area of cross section. If we change the area of cross section of the conductor, then resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. So it means R is proportional to 1 by A. The meaning of this expression is if we increase area of cross section, then R will decrease and vice versa. If we combine 1 and 2, then we will get resistance is proportional to length upon area, and when we remove this sign of proportionality, we will get R is equal to constant L by A, and this constant is known as resistivity. And its symbol is rho. To define resistivity in expression 3, If we put L as a 1 meter, A as a 1 meter square, then R is equal to rho. So the resistivity is defined as the resistance of a substance having unit area of cross section and unit length. So we have formula for resistivity. Resistivity is equal to Ra by L, and the unit of resistivity by the relation is ohm meter. Because if we take resistance unit as ohm, area as a meter square, so meter, length meter, so this meter will cancel with this meter square, so we will get ohm meter. And very important about resistivity is it is independent on dimensions of the conductor. It means if we increase the length or increase the area cross section, then the resistivity of material will not change because it depends on nature of material. Remember it? And it is important for CBSE point of view. Our next topic is 3.5, that is drift velocity. The expression is Vd. Here D indicates the drift velocity. These lines are always constant for this chapter. We always consider a conductor of length L, cross-sectional area A, E be the charge on electron, m be the mass of electron, and n be the total number of electrons. So now see what happens when we have no electric field. When no electric field is there, then all the electrons are randomly moving and they cancel out their effect, and that's why there is no net current. So remember, electrons are moving with thermal velocity, and this motion is known as thermal motion. And during thermal motion, the speed of electron is of the order of 10 raised to power 5 meter per second. So it means the average velocity of electrons is 0. Now see what happens when we apply electric field. When electric field is not equal to 0, then electrons will start accelerating towards the positive side of the conductor with some acceleration, and that acceleration is A. So acceleration formula is equal to F by m. The force acting here is E into E by m. So force is equal to E into capital E. Small e is the charge on electron and capital E is the electric field. So the formula of acceleration is minus E by m. This is equation number 2. Here minus n indicates that acceleration of electron. Again, if we consider only the ith electron at a given time t, and if we take Vi is the velocity at that interval, and after the electric field let its velocity becomes capital Vi. So the equation of final velocity of the ith electron is Vi is equal to small vi minus E by m ti. Here all expressions are for ith electron, and just link this formula with the class 11th formula that V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration, and T is the time taken. The electrons are moving from one end to another, and they suffer multiple collisions, and these collisions are not at regular interval of time. So if we take the average of all the time taken by electron from one end to another, so that time is known as mean relaxation time. So tau is the symbol for that, and we define this as the average time between successive collision by electron. If we take average of equation 3 over the n electrons, then we will get the average velocity Vd. So average velocity of is equal to Vi average is equal to Vi average minus EE by MTI average. By equation 1, the Vi, small Vi average is equal to 0 because it is the expression for thermal speed. So we will get Vd is equal to minus EEM tau. So this is the expression for average velocity, that is known as drift velocity. So drift velocity formula is equal to minus small e capital E upon m and tau. So now we can define the drift velocity. As you've seen, that is the average velocity. So it is the average velocity with which the free electrons get drifted towards a positive terminal under the effect of electric field. And the order of this drift velocity is of few millimeter per second. Our next topic is the relation between current and drift velocity. So again the same line, consider a conductor of length L, cross-sectional area A, E is charge, M is mass, N is the number density of electrons. If we apply potential difference across the conductor, then current will start flowing under the influence of electric field. So we can write I as a Q upon T, charge upon time. Here time is the mean relaxation time. So what is the value of Q? So Q is equal to NeAl. Why NeAl? So charge on electron is E. Total charge on unit volume is equal to N into E. So total charge on the conductor is equal to unit volume charge into the total volume of the conductor. And time is equal to distance upon drift velocity. So in our case, distance is equal to length of conductor and speed is equal to Vd. So I is written as NeAl by L by Vd. So after cancel out, we will get I is equal to NeAVd, very important relation, and that shows I is directly proportional to drift velocity. This is very important for CBSE point of view, for 2-mark section or 3-mark section. Now some important result and relations based on the previous topics. The first is current density. It is defined as current per unit area. Its formula is I upon A, symbol is J, and its unit is ampere per meter square. It is a vector quantity and it is always directed towards the E, means electric field. The second is equivalent forms of Ohm's law. We can write Ohm's law in vector form also. See how? We know V is equal to I into R. If you put the value of R, that is equal to I rho L by A. So V is equal to EL and I upon A is J. So we can write EL is equal to J rho L. Rho is resistivity, L is length of conductor. So L cancels, so E is equal to J into resistivity. So J is equal to E by resistivity and J is equal to E into sigma. Here sigma is the conductivity. So this is the expression for Ohm's law in vector form, or you can say it's the equivalent form of Ohm's law. These are symbols. The next is conductivity. As we know, conductivity is the reciprocal of the resistivity, and its unit is ohm meter, the whole inverse. Conductivity measures the ability of a conductor to conduct an electric current between two ends of a conductor. It is important for CBSE. Now again, important relation resistance in terms of M, L, N, E, A, tau. So we know I is equal to N, E, A, V, D. If we put the value of drift velocity, we will get I is equal to N, E, A in bracket E, E, tau by M, because drift velocity relation is E, E, tau by M. So after putting the value, we will get I is equal to N E square A V tau by ml, because E is equal to V by L, potential difference upon length. So we will get V by I is equal to M by L N E square A tau, and V by I is equal to R. So we can write R is equal to M by L N E square A tau. So by this relation, we can see the dependence of resistance on various factors. So resistance depends on nature of material and length and area cross section. Now relation of resistivity in terms of M, L, N, E, A, tau, or you can say in vice versa form, key show that resistivity does not depend on length and area cross section. So see the relation. By above relation, R is equal to ML by NE square A tau. If we compare this relation with rho L by A, then we will get resistivity is equal to M by NE square tau. So that shows resistivity is independent on length and area of cross section. Very important result. And conductivity is reverse of resistivity, so we will get Ne square tau by M. The sixth point is the characteristic curve of Ohm's law. So if we plot a variation of V versus I or I versus V, we will get a straight line passing through origin. This is the characteristics for the Ohm's law curve. The straight line passing through the origin, slope of V versus I curve is resistance, and slope of I versus V graph is conductance. I hope finding slope is not difficult for you. Slope is equal to, in this case, in this graph, delta I upon delta V. So if I take the slope of I versus V graph, then it is equal to 1 by R, that is conductance. Similarly, you can find the slope of V versus I graph also. Now conductance and conductivity. Conductance is the reciprocal of resistance. Its SI unit is mho. Mho is the reverse or inverse of ohm. Conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity, so SI unit of conductivity is mho per meter. Now we have seen several speeds in the previous section. So the first, thermal speed of electron in a copper is 2 into 10 raised to power 2 meter per second. Drift velocity of electrons in a copper atom is 10 raised to minus 5 meter per second, and the speed of electric field set up along the conductor is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. It is equal to speed of an electromagnetic wave. Now some important examples. The first one is very important, that if electron drift is so small, so why the response is so instantaneous? If we switch on the bulb glow instantly. Why the fan run instantaneously? So the answer is the electric field is established throughout the circuit with electromagnetic wave. So if you see the conductor, and in a conductor if you have a switch, if you press the switch, so electric field will set up across the conductor with the speed of light, and that's why the response is so instantaneous. Now B part, if electron experience force inside the conductor, so why not the speed increases? Because we know in class 11th v is equal to u plus at. If acceleration is there, so it means v will increase after every second, but in our case drift speed remains constant. So the answer is, inside a conductor, when electrons start drifting from one end to another, it suffers collision, and during collision it gains some speed, but after collision it loses its speed and again start with the same velocity, and so on. So that's why we take the average of electrons, and therefore electron acquire only drift speed. C part, if drift speed is so small, then why we get large amount of current? So the answer lies here, I is equal to NEAVD. So VD is small, but what about N? So N is nearly equal to 10 raised to power 29 per meter cube. So due to N we will get, we have a large amount of current. Now the next example, if electron drift from low to high potential, does it mean all electrons of the metals are moving in the same direction? So answer is no. Why? Because when electrons start drifting towards a positive end, so they suffer collision and the resultant is in different direction. So that's why all electrons are not moving in the same direction. So no means the drift velocity is superimposed over the large random velocities of the electrons. The next example, are the path of electrons straight lines between the successive collisions? So answer is no. In the absence of field, the path is straight line, and in presence of field, the path is curve. Important, remember, in the absence of field the path is straight line, in the presence of field path is curved. Now move to next topic. The topic is mobility. Mobility symbol is mu, and it decides the movement of charge carriers when we apply electric field. So its formula is, or we can define mobility as a drift velocity per unit electric field, and the formula is mu is equal to Vd by E. If we put the formula of Vd, we will get E tau E by m. So we will get mu is equal to E tau by m. The SI unit of mobility is meter square per volt second, and mobility is positive. it is important for CBSE. Now, very important, next part, limitations of Ohm's law. Uh, we have seen earlier Ohm's law characteristic curve is V is directly proportional to I. If at any moment any substance or conductor stop this relationship, so it means that the conductor is not obeying the Ohm's law. So at high temperature, conductor loses this characteristic point, and Ohm's law is not valid at high temperature. See, in semiconductor devices, we have different value of V and different value of I. So, diode, transistors, they also do not obey Ohm's law. See here, if we take voltage 0.2, we have different amount of current, and here if we take voltage, this is 2 only, so we have different amount of current. So current sign changes when voltage sign reverses. The relationship between the voltage and current is not unique. See the gallium arsenide curve. If you plot current versus voltage, so see here we have same value of current for two different voltage. So this is not possible in Ohm's law. So these are the limitations of Ohm's law, important for CBSE. Now 3.7 topic, resistivity of various materials. So we can differentiate materials based on resistivity. If material has low range, so we call them as a metals. If they have high resistivity for the order of 10^18, we call them as an insulator, and the substance, their resistivity lies in between 10⁻⁸ to 10⁻18, we call them semiconductors. So we can differentiate materials based on resistivity in metals, insulators and semiconductors. Color code for carbon resistor. First, why we have this topic, and what is the need of carbon resistor? So in lab we have so many resistors available. We have domestically we use wire bound resistors or carbon resistors. Wire bound resistors are made up of nichrome, constantan, manganese, etc. And they have very small range, 1 ohm to few hundred ohms. But they have very important characteristic property that they have low sensitivity to the temperature. And whereas carbon resistors are compact, inexpensive, and they are high range, they have big values. But to find the value of carbon resistor, we require carbon color coding. So let's check. So the table. In this table we have 4 columns. One column is for color, second is for number, third is for multiplier, and the next is for tolerance. We have in first column we have different colors, and these colors are arranged in number wise 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So to remember the color coding, we use one slang. We use this statement: B.B. Roy of Great Britain has very good wife. So till this point we remember B black, B brown, R red, O orange, Y yellow, G green, B blue, V violet, G grey, W white. But what about this? So we will add here wearing gold, silver necklace. So G is for this gold, silver S, and for no color we have necklace. So to remember this whole table, we have a very good statement. B.B. Roy of Great Britain has very good wife wearing gold silver necklace. Now rule for finding the carbon resistors. So there are 4 bands. If you see any carbon resistor, so there are 4 bands: band 1, band 2, band 3 and band 4. So first 2 bands will indicate the first 2 significant figures. The third band will indicate the decimal multiplier, and the last band will indicate the tolerance. I repeat, the first 2 will represent the first 2 significant digit, the third band decimal multiplier, and the fourth band is for tolerance. If last band is absent, then we will take tolerance as a 20%. For example, in this example, we have 4 bands: red, 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 silver. So what is the value of this resistance, this resistor from the table? So R is 2, this R is 2, red is, so decimal multiplier is 10 raised to power 2, silver tolerance is 10%. So the resistance value is 22 into 10 raised to power 2 ohm plus minus 10%. I repeat once again, for red number is 2, for second again 2, red the decimal multiplier is 10 raised to power 2, and for silver the tolerance is 10%. Now see one example: yellow, violet, brown, gold. See the table and tell me the answer. Good. The answer is for 7 into 10 ohm plus minus 5%. Yellow 4, violet 7, brown 1 and gold 5%. So I hope you can easily calculate the resistance of a carbon resistor by using color coding. Now the last topic of today's lecture, 3.8, temperature depends of resistivity. Resistivity does not depends on length and area, but it depends on nature and temperature. So the formula of resistivity we know. So if the mathematical formula of resistivity, so the relation is rho T is equal to rho naught 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. Here rho T indicates resistivity at temperature T, rho naught indicates resistivity at temperature T naught, and here alpha stands for temperature coefficient of resistivity, and it is defined as resistivity per original resistivity. Change in resistivity, it is defined as change in resistivity per original resistivity per degree change in temperature. So we can write alpha as a change in resistivity upon initial resistivity per degree change in temperature. So by that we can calculate the units also. So unit of this is per Kelvin and dimension is temperature minus 1. This is important for CBSE point of view. You can write this relation, just write delta this rho, this equal to final resistivity minus initial resistivity, and delta T here is T minus T naught. So delta rho is proportional to change in temperature as well as initial resistivity. So we will get delta rho is equal to alpha rho and delta T. So after putting the values, you can get this relation. So see class 11th concept. So this is the mathematical relation of resistivity on temperature. For metals, see what is the behavior. Alpha is positive for metals. It means resistance will increase with increase in temperature and vice versa. The reason being because when temperature increases, collision frequency increases and time decreases. Insulator and semiconductors, in this alpha is negative, so it means due to increase in temperature the resistance of a substance will decrease because more bonds will break and more electrons will move and increase the conduction. For alloys, alpha has a very small positive value. Therefore, if temperature increases, there is very less change in resistivity of the alloys, and that's why they are used for making standard resistance wire of resistance. Important for practical point of view. And commonly used alloys are constantan, manganese, nichrome. Now see graph of resistivity with temperature. So if you plot resistivity versus temperature graph for metals, so it increases. If you plot resistivity versus temperature, so there is a change, but that change is very less. And if you plot resistivity versus temperature graph for semiconductors and insulator, it decreases. These graphs are important for CBSE for 1 mark questions. Now see the temperature dependence of resistivity by formulas qualitatively. So we know resistivity is equal to m by n e square tau. So for metals, resistivity increases with increase in temperature, we know. So here the explanation: if temperature increases, then collisions will increase. If collision increases, then tau will decrease, and by the above relation we can say resistivity will increase. So that's why resistivity increases with increase in temperature. In case of semiconductors and insulators, resistivity decreases with increase in temperature because by the above relation, if temperature increases, then more bonds will break, N will increase, and resistivity will decrease. So remember, temperature increase, resistivity decrease in case of semiconductors. This part is important for CBSE for 1 marker and 2 markers. This is the end of today's lecture. In next lecture, we will discuss the 3.9, 3.10, 3.11 and 3.12 electrical energy and power, combinations of resistors, cells, EMF and internal resistance, cells in series and in a parallel. Thank you. Watch, like and share. Stay safe, stay inside. Happy learning. Thank you.